thankful to have the opportunity to connect with you today. I've been feeling this vibe of self-worth really coming up, not just for myself, but also for people around me. Now, when we have a low value of self-worth, it usually manifests as sabotage, whether we are sabotaging ourselves or sabotaging people around us. So, with what's going on in the world, and I really do believe that we are experiencing a great awakening that is pushing us to self-reflect. It's pushing us into our discomfort. It's pushing us to be able to see the spaces inside of ourselves that are very, very clearly either exposed or have been hidden for a really long time. When we unearth these parts of ourselves with the intention of loving ourselves and others fully, we are able to take a nice, big, giant, deep breath into the absolute core of our own existence in a way that gives us freedom to create exactly as we were designed to by our own free will. Hi, Ravenheart. Glad you are here. Yes. So let's go ahead. I'm going to go ahead and just open space. You can hear I'm a little bit stuffy. I've got some very powerful upgrades moving through my system, which I was kind of on the fence. Do I go live? Do I not go live? Well, I wanted to bring, just kind of show up, one, because I said I was going to, and that's important for me to do for myself. And because I also wanted to kind of share this part of healing. When we heal and when we start doing upgrades, and if you listen or watch any of my videos, you're receiving these upgrades. You're receiving these vibrational ascension shifts, these vibrational ascension lifts. And so when we have those experiences, sometimes, like energetically, we'll take these quantum leaps. But then physically, our bodies on a cellular level either need us to slow down to be able to start integrating those lessons. So you'll get either a headache or you'll just feel a little bit off, you'll feel a little bit sluggish. It's because your physical body needs to rest to be able to smooth through and go through whatever upgrades are coming. So for me right now, I'm releasing a lot of gunk and a lot of stuff around my head, which includes a lot of limiting beliefs for sure. I feel that I'm stepping into a quantum leap myself, a big shift, and so when that happens, it's quite funny because it's like if you think of a springboard. I used to do gymnastics, so if you think of a springboard, it's like there's a depression before there's the acceleration of the pop up. And so when these things happen, just know that there's still movement that's going to be moving through your own body when you get to the other side. So I just wanted to share that with you in grace, and also just let you know I'm just a little bit calmer today, which is okay. It also allows me to be a little bit more open because I'm not as chatty and all of that, like, you know, I'm alive. So with that, I really wanted to come from this place of a heart-centered connection, doing what I can to support the expansion of our own value of self-worth. This is a piece that it's almost like a silent emotional epidemic. So many people bump into self-worth limits. We'll say self-worth limits. If you've ever felt that you're not good enough, which is most people, if you've ever felt that you're not capable enough, which is most people, if you've ever felt that you're just not it's like fill in the blank. So this self-worth thing is also very closely associated with your relationships. If you've ever seen a woman with a man or a man with a woman, either way, and you're like, wow, she's way too good for him or he's way too good for her. One, okay, yeah, we're a little bit judgy. But there's certain things where you're like, okay, well, this person is on this level, this person's not on this level, like people match up when their vibrational frequency. But when you see somebody that's like knocking it out of the park in one way, and you see somebody else that is just like, maybe not, they're dragging a little bit. It's a self-worth thing. We pair up, we match up with people by means of how we see ourselves internally. This is also the case for money, how we feel we are capable of receiving. Do we feel that we're worthy of receiving the abundance that's available to us? Do we feel that we're worthy to receive the birthright that is our own soul's calling, that is part of our own soul's destiny? We have to believe that we are worthy. We have to believe that we are deserving. We have to believe these things within ourselves, because like I said, if we do not feel that within ourselves, if we do not feel that we are truly holding steady in our heart centeredness of being able to attract that which is in the highest vibrational alignment with us, that's when things start to get a little bit wonky. That's when things start to get a little bit like wobbly and weird, so that we can see where we are selling ourselves short. So with that, my dear loves, as that is the theme, I just wrote it into the encoding of the intention here. I'm going to go ahead and start with the prayer. So for those of you that are here with me live, let's do some live readings. Let's jump on. My intention is to be here for about 45 minutes, an hour. So we've got some time to connect, to drop in and go deep. So I'm going to, like I said, set space with the prayer. As we do, open that container. So again, I'll give my little spiel on how this works. Just taking note that it does not matter if you are watching this now, here and now, or on the replay, that we are experiencing each other in a fifth dimensional form, in a space where time and space do not exist. So no matter what time, no matter where you are in the world, that you come across this video is for you at exactly the right time. So opening your heart to your own intention. What is it that you are cultivating for yourself? What is it that you would like to get out of this session? What is it that you would like to feel into? What is it that you would like to nurture yourself through? Are there any ahas or things that are going on in your life that you would like clarity on? Go ahead and take a moment to just simply set a very clear intention. And yes, even if you are watching the replay, like I said, this works for you because we are in a space of no time and no space. So, because I am a channel, because I am connected to my higher self, because I am embodied in my higher self, I'm able to tune into the quantum field that is here. So even if you do not hear me say your name by means of doing a live reading with you, know that there is a collective intention and collective agreement because of the way that we do this in this space on YouTube. So, with that being said, let's go ahead. Whoever is here that is with me live, go ahead and hit the like button. Ding! And then also go ahead and let me know through the comments that you're available and you would like to be read, because I would love to connect with you in this way and offer you as much support as I can in this moment. And so let's go ahead and take a couple of nice, big, deep breaths. And no worries, don't be shy. I promise that even as you're read in this space, there is openness in privacy, that there are certain things that you know that your higher self, I'm glad this is coming up actually. There's a self-regulation that goes on. So in this self-regulation, hi Helen, would you like to be read? In this self-regulation, there are certain things that your higher self, okay, Christine, beautiful. I would love to do a reading with you and connect in that way. Like I was saying, there is a self-regulation that takes place, and this is even true in my one-on-one sessions. In the one-on-one sessions, still, there are certain things where I see that there's a boundary. There's an energetic boundary of something that maybe I shouldn't touch on, or maybe that person isn't really ready and willing to go into. So when you're read in this space, especially in a public forum and how we have the energy set, remember, I'm just reading a little sliver of your frequency, of your field, that also has to do with the collective of the people that are watching this here with us now and will also watch this. So thank you for being willing. Thank you for participating and saying that you would like to be read. And it may feel very vulnerable. It may feel that there are a lot of things that I can see And this is true. But trust that there is a guidance moving through that is protecting you, that is protecting me, that is protecting all parties involved, that has our absolute highest and best interest at heart. So, with that being said, Christine, I'm going to go ahead and start with you. And Helen, yes, I'm happy to read you as well. Let's just go ahead and take a couple nice big deep breaths. Okay, Christine, the first thing that I'm seeing is like there's a coldness. It's like there's a cold metal, but also like an icy coldness that's happening in the front left hand side of you. What I'm seeing this having to do with, it's like, it's very interesting. It's like it's a passive aggressive energy. I'm seeing that it does have to do with a female or relation to certain females in your world and in your life. I'm seeing that this particular energy, you're recognizing it's like it's hard when you bump up against it. It's unpleasant when you bump up against it. And what I'm seeing is that there's a willingness to release it, but there's a willingness to release it not by means of like letting people go or having these like drastic like cut out sort of situations. It doesn't have to be dramatic, but what I'm seeing is there's an evolution of maturity that's taking place, and in that space, in that evolution of the maturity, there's a willingness to soften these patterns. And so these patterns that have been created, and I want to speak to this also like generalizing female to female relationships. Female to, like, we have been so deeply programmed to compete with each other, and we have been so deeply programmed to pin ourselves against each other, especially like in the dating world and by men, and like there's all sorts of really crazy, intricate, like funky things that go on. That's why there's such strong movements right now that's saying, hey, women are supporting each other now. The fact that we even have to say that is really telling to how we have been programmed to relate to each other. Women are not catty by nature. We are not catty by nature. We may be territorial, we may be very protective, we may have mama bear instincts, we may have these certain things going on, but women are not catty by nature. We have been trained and we have been taught to participate in relationships with each other that is, well, if my friend doesn't like you, then I don't like you either. It does not need to be like that. It really does not need to be like that. So when we give an openness, when we give a categorization, when we give more freedom to ourselves to be able to breathe easy and to honor and recognize that all women, especially our peers, the ones that are in our age group, have most likely been indoctrinated and programmed with the same devaluing, internally and intrinsically devaluing competition with each other as well. This really ties into the theme here around self-worth. The theme around self-worth on this one is really open to giving ourselves more permission and more freedom to be able to see if we are in competition with somebody, or let's say you're scrolling through Instagram and you see a female, we'll say female to female, keeping this relationship going. If you see another female and you feel very envious, or you feel that you want to, like, emotionally you're throwing darts, or you're just like, you feel those icky feelings, the thing is that she didn't do anything. The thing is that she didn't do anything. And so what it is it's an internal reflection of our own programming. And so that internal reflection of our own programming is showing us where we have the room and the space and the freedom to be able to breathe easy and lean into this. For some of us, like I was raised with two stepsisters in the same household. I had a stepmother and then I had a mother at another house. Very modern day American family. Like there was a lot of separation and a lot of weird funky stuff. If we've ever had competition with our sisters, people that haven't gotten, like females that haven't gotten along with their sisters, there's a deep love, but there's also a really high competition. And so the female competition is really what we want to like pinpoint through this one, that there's a theme here that is available for all of us to neutralize. So let's go ahead and use some of these light codes to be able to neutralize those specific frequencies, those frequencies that keep us battling not only ourselves. And the thing is like if we're feeling that with females, chances are that we're feeling it with men too, but it's showing up in a different way. It's showing up in like an attacky sort of way, or a resentful sort of way. And all of these things, these are not acts of love. So if our intention is, which it is mine, and that's where I come from, to be able to, move through these things, if our intention is to move through this world by means of very deeply connecting to the intrinsic value of unconditional love within, then we have the opportunity to see ourselves very, very clearly. And if we have the opportunity to see ourselves very clearly, then we get to take a nice big deep breath. And let's receive these codes to release that type of competition from inside of our own DNA, from inside of our own genetic coding, that gives us the opportunity to return to love, to release jealousy, to release envy, to release resentment, to release the need to overcompete or to win or whatever that is. Let's go ahead and take a look at that within ourselves where we have played these games. Iana iowa oapua sa'ata, iani I kiawa oapu utu unua, I anai I kua, ai saya inia oapua ha'aka, iata anai iawa oapu utu unua ha'aka iawa, I saya aniawa oapua ta ha'aka, I kua tana ia ha'aka pu'ua saya, Io ono eawa a kua suatani, Io aya na io aya ayata, ai ua saya enia aka ua puata aka, Ioa ua sa ia nai I kua ua puasa ia watu uniawa, Iawa ua ta inai I kia ua pu uaka, Ia nai ia ta anai iawa ua pu ukua sasa, Ia niawa ua pu ua tatani ia, Itiakai ia niawa haaka puasa, Ia ua nai I kua ua ana ia aka ana ia, Ia ta ia na ia ta ana ia ata ia kua pu saa, Hi iawa haaka kanai ia ta, Iawa ua pu kua haane iawa a, Siata atere teawa, Iawa ua pu susuni iawa haaka anai. And go ahead and lean into whatever images or any people or any relationships that are lighting up in your life, that are lighting up in your heart, that are allowing you to see yourself even more clearly, allowing yourself to be very deeply and intimately, very kindly honest with yourself. There's no shame, there's no blame, there's no guilt, and there's no punishment. There just simply is what there is. And as we face these patterns within ourselves, neutrally, to be able to honor the place of which they originated from, knowing that it was not originated in our pure, authentic, true nature. It is not in our pure, authentic, true nature to hold any sort of bitterness, to hold any sort of resentment. So we want to lean into these spaces. Breathe deeply, breathe easily. Ai kanai ia waha'a sa tia oanai I kua pu uku waha'a inea. Beautiful. And Helen, let me know that you're still here, and we'll go ahead and dive into a reading with you as well. I have a feeling that there is a loop of things that are coming through in this. It's going to be a very beautiful opportunity to do some very deep healing with the wounded feminine. We have the wounded feminine, we also have the wounded masculine. These are parts that are inside of us. We also have the divine masculine and the divine feminine. Hi Helen, lovely, thank you for letting me know that you're here. So within ourselves, we have these 4 quadrants, and of course there's many other components as to who and what we are and what we do. So we have these 4 quadrants, the divine masculine, the divine feminine, the wounded masculine, and the wounded feminine. and they all have various ways of showing up. And reconciling from the wounded to the divine is a journey. It's a journey that takes, yes, Christine, I hope that landed well, and thank you for bringing that to the table so that we can all look at this. This is a much, 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 much broader circumstance to be able to look at and see within ourselves and within our sisters. We are here to support each other. We absolutely are here to support each other. And so when we feel that cattiness, really lean in. Is it jealousy? Is it envy? Is it resentment? Is that a woman has something that you wish you had, so instead of building her up and celebrating her, you choose to tear her down? This is rampant. We see this everywhere. I've even recently had men try to tear me down because they saw me doing things that I could see from within themselves was an internal projection of where they were not showing up for themselves. I could feel it as a conversation was going on, and I knew that it wasn't about me, so I didn't take it personally. It's not to say that it didn't still, sting a little bit, because uncomfortable or confrontational conversations aren't always fun. But I could see what was going on. I could see beyond the words that were being spoken. It was like, okay. And that's where the wounded masculine or the wounded feminine comes out in attacky sort of ways to bring other people down. Well, the thing is that it's a mirror of how that particular person is relating to themselves. So this is why we don't take things personally, or this is why there's no reason to take things personally, because the way that people experience themselves is the way that they project it and act out in the external world. So when we see that within ourselves, we say, thank you for showing me where I have room to grow. And when we see a sister or a brother that has something or has accomplished something that we wish we could have done for ourselves, we can share with the prayer. This is my favorite one of my favorites, is thank you, sister, for showing me what's possible. Thank you, sister, for showing me what's possible. Thank you, sister, for showing me what's possible. Onaki asatariki wapu naki ia wapu susayani ia wapu uku atatakai. Ani iata itiawa anakai susunakai ituapu nakai iawa tu uku puaha anakai. Siawa utana kiawa haakata iawa ha saniawa. Yo aya niawa uapu uku ututuku. Ayanai iawa hu uku apu usuanai hiawa uapua. Iata iawa nuapu hu ukua sasa niawa. Ikana iawa hu uku unukua atatai. Ia tana iawa ua pua sai ianaki. Iawa tu unukua pua sa iniawa akua pua naki iawa haaka sana iawa. Beautiful. All right, Helen, let's go ahead and tune in. Okay, so very interesting. I see, I'm trying to think, I'm seeing a shape, and I'm trying to think of how to describe the shape. Like I see you rising. It's almost like the opposite of a spiral. That's why it's kind of interesting to try to describe. I see you rising, and I see there's like this blooming around you, almost like this wave that's coming up with you sort of thing. But then what I see is like stuck right at the feet. I see that both feet are like anchored where you are right now, but the rest of you is blooming, the rest of you is blossoming, the rest of you is like, yeah, I'm almost there, yes, I'm almost free, yeah, and then it's like, and I have a feeling that this has been going on for a little bit of a while. Let me see if I could just speak some light language and unravel that a little bit. Are you open to that? Are you open to that kind of healing? Are we all open to that kind of healing? Let's see if we can get the weight off of our feet to move forward in the direction that we say we want to go in. This is the thing about self-worth and self-sabotage too, is that we say we want something, we say we want to accomplish something, we say we want to achieve something, and then what happens is we start building momentum in the way of that, and then what happens is all of the things, the programs that are running scripts inside of our body that aren't in agreement to it, that are our subconscious beliefs. It's like, you're not worthy, you're not deserving. Remember that one time you got a B instead of an A and your parents got really mad? Remember this, remember that. There's like all these deeper subconscious things, and we don't always have to go through the photo album. We don't have to go through the photo album and flip through every page and sort out, well, this. We don't have to do all of that. We can just simply acknowledge that it exists and choose something different. Okay, you just broke your ankle, so that is so interesting. Yes. Love that you brought that into this. Okay, so this is what happens. Our bodies speak to us. That's why I've got the snuffleupagus thing going on right now. My body is like, chill, girl, you're going too fast. And I'm like really detoxing this LA hustle and grind thing because I've been laid out for a while, healing my nervous system, and I'm really excited. So now my body's like, hey, chill. Same thing. You break your ankle, you break your arm, you break your this, you break your that. There's a really powerful book that's called Heal Your Body by Dr. Louise Hay. She's the one that established Hay House Publications, and she did, I think, like 40 years of psychotherapy or something like that, and she compiled this book based on illnesses or just various things, body ailments that people had in association to the emotional turmoil or the emotional blocks or the limiting beliefs that they had about themselves within. And so this book, it's called Heal Your Body. I have it, I think, for me on like iBook or Audible. I have it on my phone, so I can get to it really quick. Yeah, Helen, you have that book. So when it comes to feet stuff, when it comes to feet, ankles, plantar fasciitis, even ingrown toenails, like that sort of stuff, there's a whole association with fear of moving forward. So if you're getting foot cramps, yes, it's possible you're dehydrated. And it's also possible that your body's trying to be like, you know, pay attention to this. There's this part of you that's afraid of moving forward, but you really want that. And so that's what I see. I see this blossoming happening. I see this like shift up into new frequencies. I see this like very beautiful, colorful like fountain coming through, and then yeah, that tightness around the ankles. So let's play with some energy and start to loosen some of those blocks, start to loosen where we have, you know, put ourselves on house arrest or not let ourselves go out and be in the world and play and jump around and do all these things that we think we are not allowed to do until we hit XYZ, different milestones, that sort of thing. We want to really tune into that which is allowing us to be the most free, the most joyful, the most effervescent in our own skin. So it's possible that you manifested or chose on some subconscious level to break your ankle to get very, very, very clear with the patterns, the subconscious patterns that you may have learned from your primary caregivers or from past lives or from parallel realities. Like, there are so many possibilities that go into the XYZ of why certain things happen, which is why it's not always 100% clear. But when we play with the light language and we allow these energies from our own higher self, from our own internal being to move through and show us what we are refusing to see or show us what we have been allowing to stay in our blind spot. One of my favorite prayers, along with the thank you, sister, for showing me what's possible, my other favorite prayers, a little bit reluctantly, but it's a good one, is please show me what I have been refusing to see. Please show me that which is within myself that I have been refusing to see. It's powerful. You'll learn all sorts of new stuff about yourself. I promise. All right, so let's go ahead and bring some codes in and see if we can move this energy. And if you're open to receiving, go ahead and place your palms face up. That's the receiving mode. That lets your body, your mind, all parts of you know that you're receiving. If you just want to observe and sit in this space, go ahead and, I don't know, clasp your hands or put them on your heart or whatever you want to do with them. But palms face up shows that you're open to receiving the healing of the light prayers that are coming through. Yona ia wasa tu ukuna iata wana wapu atatakiania wa wapu ukutana. Okay, Helen, this came in super clear really fast. What I'm seeing is a past life experience where you had been to war, you'd gone into battle, and I'm seeing like armor and horses and kind of like medieval time sort of thing. But I'm seeing where you had gone into battle and you had gotten very hurt, and I'm also seeing where you saw things that you didn't want to see. as far as people being murdered on the battlefields. And so I'm seeing that there was another calling for you to go into another war or onto another battlefield, and instead of actually going into battle, you manifested like an illness. And what I'm seeing is that there was actually an infection, like a really intense infection in the left leg. And that infection in the left leg was ultimately, I'm seeing what killed you in that lifetime, but it left such an imprint of the fear of death, as well as the fear of battling, the fear of saying competition. It's like that's a theme that's coming up, and so it's like I'm seeing this little boy image in this particular lifetime where it's like the program of, okay, well, we're a little boy, it's rough, like it's medieval times, who knows what it was like to grow up in that day and age, right? We're like soft little domesticated cats these days in comparison to that time. So for a boy, I'm seeing, okay, then you grow up, you go into battle, but what I'm seeing is that there's still that inner child, right? We talk so much about healing the inner child. Well, there was no healing the inner child at that time, in those times. There was no, like, let's go to retreat and heal the inner child, which is why we're doing the work of healing our ancestral lineage, people. I don't mean to be sassy with you, but it's like, this is why. This is why we do the ancestral healing. This is why we do the inner child work. This is why we connect in with these timelines of connecting and activating the dormant DNA inside of our bodies. This is why. So this inner child that's in this body that was going to battle, I'm still seeing there was a really wounded, very scared little boy. And that very wounded, very scared little boy didn't get the attention that it needed. It was just constantly like, shush, buck up, don't cry, be tough, be a man, that script that we've all heard. But I'm seeing that this was on a completely different level. It was like there was no room for this wounded little boy to speak. There was no room for this wounded little boy to be heard. There was no room for this little boy, this wounded little boy, to open up to being able to receive the acceptance and the acknowledgement and the attention that it just simply wanted to know that it wasn't going to be abandoned. It's that piece of self-abandonment. This is so powerful. It is the piece of self-abandonment. So Helen, what I'm going to encourage you to do, let's go woo. Go woo with me. Rub the palms together. You don't have to be as dramatic as that. It happens sometimes. Rub your palms together. Activate your palm chakras. Get them going. Get that energy moving through. Connect heart, shoulders, down through the arms. These are the creative channels. That's why we create with our hands, because it's connected to our heart. Activating the palm chakras, sending healing energy from the heart to the palms. And then just go ahead and place your hands anywhere on your left leg or your broken ankle or whatever it is. And just simply envision, this is where we're going to go woo. Envision your leg being infected, however you see it. And just simply allow yourself to be in that space and tell the man in that lifetime, a man in that timeline, that it's all okay, because there's a fear of death that's running a script also in your root chakra. And so there's something about like where you're blooming and where you're blossoming and where you're like ready to like, whoo, that there's still a fear of death that's running a script in the root chakra. The root chakra is where we have survival and the embodiment. And so that really is important to also be reconciled. That is really important to also be seen and acknowledged. So as we're leaning into that, take a couple nice big deep breaths and just simply feel what you're feeling. Notice what you notice. Even if you're like, I don't know that I'm doing this right, it doesn't matter. Just focus on sharing the love from your heart down through your hands. If you get any insights, beautiful. If not, also beautiful. We're sharing a really, everyone who's here now and everyone who is watching on the replay, we are all receiving a really powerful upgrade right now. We're becoming aware of the timelines that coexist inside of our physical bodies as our soul expression, as our own past lives, what we carry from one lifetime into the next, as well as the genetic predisposition of the things and the stories and the emotions and the experiences that our ancestor carried and passed down to us through our own biology. So as we have the power within ourselves to reconcile and neutralize where there has been a lot of harm created on this planet, and we return ourselves back into that 0 point, that space inside of the womb of the divine creatrix, where all form is birth and creation, and we allow ourselves to very gently and very easily be honored in our own highest intention, in our own highest integrity, that we're able to see more clearly where and how we have let ourselves down, and where we have let others down, but also where we have allowed ourselves and our self-worth to be devalued. And so in seeing that it is our own divine birthright, because we are powerful, infinite beings that are able to consciously understand the expanses of time of what we hold inside of our own bodies and inside of our own mind and inside of our own heart, we're able to neutralize and transmute. So transmute is a word that I've seen people just like use and throw around. I'm like, that's not the proper use of that word. So I'm going to describe it for you. Transmutation, it's a very simple concept, yet it is a very advanced energetic practice. To be able to transmute energy, to be able to transmute frequency, is to change something from one frequency into another. So when we talk about transmuting fear, or talking about, did you feel, I want to make sure that I really clarify this. Did you feel when I was talking about the wounded little boy that needed the attention, that wanted to make sure it wasn't abandoned, but was consistently rejected, in that you cannot be weak, you cannot be emotional, you cannot be this, you cannot be that, and there's this little wounded boy that's just begging to be heard. All it wants is that attention. There was a specific charge. It was like there was a specific intensity that was dissolved at the point of attention given. That is transmuting energy. It's when we see something, and because just of the contact of the awareness of a different frequency that comes to and approaches it in a way that allows room for movement to happen, openness to occur, for a dissolution of a particular charge, the transmuting, it's a transmutation. It's from yellow to blue, it's from blue to red, it's from fear to love. Yanikia wa patana ia si ia utonake yani awa akwa oapu asa yani tiawa akaha. Ionai I atana ia siatana ia io uapu haanai ia ka anai isiawa uani kia ai anai iawa iowa anai ia iawa ua sa inia. Yo otunai I tuatai I tanai iawa su unokai ioko atakai io o otani iawa haaka. The gifts you have been given are designed to be shared with others. They're designed to be shared in a way that feels right and best and aligned with the internal parts of your own soul's intention. To allow your heart to be felt, to allow your inner world to be heard, to give yourself the moment and grace to pause and to truly listen to what is alive within you and where you can bring more nurturing and more love and more support so that all parts of you are ready and willing to go on to the next step. And when all parts of you are ready and willing to go on to the next step, then we don't have to create injury or create disease. And the reason I'm saying create is because it is the abandoned or ignored parts of ourselves that are not getting the attention that they need at that time to be able to comfortably align. This dissolves self-sabotage. This enhances self-confidence and self-worth. It's to show yourself that you have got your own back. Helen, you're very, very welcome. I am so deeply honored and so thankful to be able to hold space with you and for you in this way. There have been a lot of powerful realizations for me here as well, and I do hope for some of the other people who are viewing. And we have time for one more reading, so if there's anyone else that would like to be read, I'm more than happy to connect with you, and let's see what comes up. There's some really beautiful energy moving through this field right now. So thank you all for bringing your energy, bringing your intentions, for participating in the way that feels right and balanced for you. Let's go ahead and take a couple of nice, big, deep breaths, allowing that heart illumination to glow just a little bit more. Beautiful, Raven heart. Knee injuries. Knee injuries are a fun one. They're a little bit different. Knee injuries and knee tension, knee tightness, knee stuff is an association with the ego. So it's where the ego is blocking. It's where the ego is blocking alignment. It's where the ego, it's like, what are the shadow sides of the ego? The shadow sides of the ego are arrogance and insecurities. Those are the two big ones. A lot of people don't really associate ego with insecurities, but that's really the big thing, is that our ego protects us from things that it believes or have experienced as harmful. So it holds on to perceived negative experiences and then keeps us complacent, keeps us stuck, it keeps us safe. And so until we nurture and let ourselves know that we are safe, and only when we believe that it is safe to move forward can we move forward. So if we have been trained, or if we've had life experiences that have taught us that in this world it is a bad thing to be seen, to be outspoken, to not come to terms with some things, there's a lot of room. There's a lot of room for our egos to soften. All of us. Every single one of us. Every single human being. I don't care how many mantras you've chanted. I don't care how many cups of chai tea you have drank softly by the river. We all can learn to soften our egos. And so the ego showing up in the knee, the right is masculine, the left is feminine. So left being feminine, also in association with mom. Mother energy, divine feminine, wounded feminine. If it's right knee, it's masculine, overdevelopment of masculinity, not being willing to soften. There's a lot of things that our body teaches us. Like, our body talks, our body can communicate with us. There's different parts of our body that have a consciousness, that it's one of those things, again, where one of the prayers that I have that I like to share for myself, please show me what I am refusing to see, but also please tell me what I am refusing to hear. What are you refusing to hear within your own body? What are you refusing to acknowledge that is at the core of your own unconscious or subconscious intention? There is so much going on within that we are able to, let's take a moment to go within. Let's real time this. Ai ona iawa ua pu'uku usu'unai. And again, there's no shame, there's no blame, there is no guilt, there is no punishment. A lot of the reasons why people don't heal is because they think that healing means that something's wrong. Healing doesn't necessarily connotate that something's wrong. It may just simply mean that something's not in alignment. And the thing is that as we evolve and as we grow, there's a constant ebb and flow of alignment, non-alignment, alignment, non-alignment, alignment, non-alignment, alignment, non-alignment. Like it's how we evolve, it's how we grow. So we learn to continue to be in alignment. So what was once in alignment 3 years ago is no longer in alignment because we've grown and evolved. So we're in that space of finding that center within. So when you're communicating to your body, it's body, what do you have to share with me? What do you have to show me? Where is there more openness available? What is it that I can let go of? Is there a behavior trait or a characteristic or pattern? Yanai iawa akanai I tu'unai iawa ha'a. Io'ua anai I tuanai iawa aka. Allowing acceptance to just simply wash over you. Divine potential of unified acceptance. This is the acceptance that says, in all ways, in all forms, in all shapes of my being, I am worthy of love. I am deserving of love. I am love. And if I am love, then of course I'm deserving of it. Of course I'm worthy of it, because that is my true and divine nature. My true divine authentic nature is joy. My true divine authentic nature is love. And so through this life, we learn all sorts of other different experiences. We learn what is not love, and we learn a whole spectrum of human emotions. We go through a whole experience of human experiences, ups and downs, rights, wrongs, challenges, turmoil, love affairs, all sorts of things. And the pure antidote to releasing all tension truly is acceptance of what is. There's no shame. There is no blame. There is no guilt. There is no victimization. There is no bullying. There is a full release through acceptance. Beautiful. Kristen, did I just see you say yes, please? Are you open to doing a reading? We have a few minutes left, so I'm happy to do a quick one. If you are open to that, please let me know. Yonai awai, yonai awai, yonai awai, yonai awai, yonai awai, yonai awai. Yo sometimes my humanness feels quite funny when the tones start coming through. What I've learned with the tones is that they're even more direct and clear sound healing, and that the most healing tool that we have is connection with other human beings. So that's why when we hear people singing, like genuinely singing, not singing pop songs or not rapping or these sorts of things, it's like when we hear somebody singing, when we hear a human being using their instrument to share tones, to share frequency, there's something about it that just softens us. There's something about it that just makes us melt. And it's because there's a pure and unique frequency. There's a tone that's coming through from that absolute internal heart center, especially if they are singing with the intention of opening. It's like the intention from where they are coming from, that opening of the heart space. It doesn't matter if they are, Whitney Houston or one of these divas out there that have like absolutely incredible, exquisite voices. There is that, and also there is the intention from where they are coming from to evoke a felt sensation in others. It's so powerful and it's so beautiful. So, Kristen, I haven't heard from you, so I'm going to respect that privacy. I don't want to dive in, of course. I really like to have very clear consent when we start doing this sort of stuff, because this is an open forum, because this is an open container. When we're doing these live readings, like I said, I like to respect privacy. That's why I ask you to put your palms face up if you're open to receive. I really believe in connecting in these spaces in a consensual sort of way. I am channeling very high frequencies. I am channeling from a very unique space. I am on Bali. I'm in a bubble inside of a bubble during this crazy pandemic that we've been experiencing. So when we are able to lean in and be able to be willing to step forward and choose every single step of the way, yes, I'm open. Yes, you may have come here, but I also want to ask, are you open for healing? At every single step of the way, you get to choose what you get to receive and what you don't get to receive. And I also want to give all of us that opportunity to be able to practice that in a consensual model of life and how we can interact in life, by knowing that we are here by our own divine consent, in utilizing our free will for knowing what is best for us as individuals, and allowing that information and that light to move through in a very gentle and a very kind way. So I'm going to go ahead and just share another short channel, and then we'll go ahead and close this out. What I do want to encourage you to do, if you haven't already, go ahead and click the link tree link in the description below this video or any of the other videos. Feel free to like and subscribe if you haven't already. I do have goals to grow this channel, and so all of your support is so deeply and gratefully appreciated in all of the ways. We are starting to hit those goals, or I'm starting to see momentum build, which is really, really exciting for me, because I really would love to connect with more hearts and bring the wisdom that channels through me in the way that I feel designed to share, which just so happens to be on this beautiful digital virtual platform we know as YouTube. So infinitely grateful for the technology that allows us to connect across continents and across time zones and across timelines and dimensions. So thank you for being here. Thank you for all your kind words and support. And like I said, the link tree has the most recent and updated events, so you'll be able to see it there. I just can't thank you enough. If it feels right for you to join in with the Embody Your Higher Self program, of course, I encourage you to do so. That program will also lead you into the metaphysical group, the advanced level psychic development training courses that I also offer. But the link tree, no matter when you watch this, if it's now or 5 years from now, is going to have the most updated contacts or updated links that will bring you into the present time opportunities. So with that, my sweet love, let's go ahead and close this out. Yana ya wa ua puaka sa ana ya wa ua pua tanikia ya ua ya wa ua na ya ai wa ua pu ya sa yani ya wa ua puaka Yani awa ua puani ia ha'a kai awa I kuana kai Sitara Fe Iana kai tutu kai ani awa ha'a kapu Siatu ana iawa ha'a kai ani awa hi awa iawa ua puaka I suana kapike. Beautiful. And so, as we go forth, may we integrate the healing and the lessons received with courage, self-love, and compassion. Thank you so much for joining me today. Thank you so much for participating. Thank you so much for bringing your heart. And I do look forward to seeing you again very, very soon. All right, my sweet loves. Mwah. Ciao.